Welcome to a Monitoreal Quick Start Guide video. The Monitoreal AI Video Security Assistant augments surveillance camera systems with AI-powered object detection and classification, which enables you to finally see just what matters to you and trigger automated responses in certain scenarios. Think of a security assistant as a person who watches your camera feeds and alerts you and performs other actions when something important happens. Monitoreal provides a machine-based AI version of that security assistant, and this version watches all cameras simultaneously without taking breaks. Monitoreal offers smart electrical plugs and input-output network relays that enable AI Security Assistant to turn on and off lights and other low and high power electrical devices or circuits. The I/O network relay also enables integration with and augmentation of intrusion alarm systems, allowing the two systems to have synchronized arming and disarming, allowing false positive prone motion detectors to be replaced with video-based person detection, and allowing other alarm sensors to trigger snapshots from all cameras to be delivered to a person for video verification of the alarm before sending a response team, thereby avoiding responses to false positive alarms and saving money. Let's get started on the setup. I'm going to refer to the AI Security Assistant as MR for short. MR has an Ethernet port and a power input, among other ports. Connect MR via an Ethernet cable to your local area network and then connect the power. Wherever you connect MR for initial setup, the network needs to automatically assign an IP address to MR using DHCP. That is what standard routers do, so you may want to connect MR to your internet router for initial configuration. Depending on the topology of your network, after you get into the configuration of MR, you may want to configure it to connect to a different network segment where your cameras live that may not assign IP addresses using DHCP. If you don't have enough networking knowledge, don't be turned off by this. Connecting MR to your network should be easy, but certain setups may require different network configuration steps. Reach out for guidance if needed. Let's move on. After powering on MR, wait a couple minutes for it to display its IP address on the screen. Alternatively, you may use the Monitoreal recovery tool on a PC or Mac to find the IP address of MR. Once you have the IP address, open a modern web browser and enter the IP address in the URL bar. This should bring up the login page for MR. Log in with the username of SmartView and SmartView for the password as well. That is the default username and password. Then, if you want to change that, you can go to Settings, Profile, change password, enter the current password, SmartView, and then enter your new password. Then click Save. Next, we want to go to Settings, System, and check for updates. If your device is new, it probably needs to be updated. However, this device already has the latest software. Next, you can configure your system settings to your preferences. Set your time zone. Choose your date and time format. Choose your language, and choose whether or not you want automatic updates. And you can click Save. Settings have been saved. Now let's go to the Cameras page. We can start adding cameras. You can add cameras automatically using the camera search. This works if your cameras support ONVIF, which is a standard camera protocol that many manufacturers support. You would enter the username and password for your cameras, and then start searching. Optionally, if you want to add just one specific ONVIF compatible camera, you can enter its IP address here. If you have purchased Monitoreal cameras, you can select this box to search for Monitoreal cameras, and then you do not have to enter the username or password. You can click Start Searching. However, I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to add my cameras manually. Click on Add Camera Manually. You can give the camera a name. You can enter the stream URL, which is the URL for the RTSP stream, and the camera snapshot URL. It is recommended to add the stream URL and snapshot URL if they are available. In my case, I'm only going to enter a snapshot URL. Then enter the username and password, and click Save. The camera has been added. I'm going to add another camera. And the second camera has been added. When cameras are added, they are not automatically activated. Before we activate these cameras, let's review and adjust the settings. So we can see the camera settings here, and we can adjust them by clicking Change Settings. The camera is in snapshot mode. That's my only option since I only entered a snapshot URL, and snapshot mode is usually preferable. Deep Sight mode is available with Pro models. It enables detection of smaller or farther objects and detection in lower light. The standard setting for motion threshold should work fine. If you are finding that smaller objects that you want to detect aren't being detected, you may want to reduce the motion threshold a little bit at a time. The Q priority is the priority for processing this camera. Setting a higher priority compared to other cameras, meaning a higher number, makes this camera be processed before other cameras with a lower priority. The OD, or Object Detection Minimal Accuracy, sets the minimum confidence of the object classification required for sending alerts and performing other actions. With the Object Detection Alerts Double Check feature enabled, object detections are double checked to eliminate false positive alerts and actions. This feature isn't always necessary. I'm going to disable it. The Alerts option enables or disables alerts for all rules for this camera. I'm going to leave that enabled. The Error Reports option enables or disables alerts about camera disconnections. I'm also going to disable that. I'm going to make the same changes on my other camera. Now I'm going to set up my alert and action rules for the cameras. I'm going to click on the Alert and Action Rules tab under my first camera for the parking lot. Now this camera is a pan-tilt zoom camera with auto tracking capability. By default, we have a person detection rule. I can edit this rule by clicking the pencil button. So I can see that the object is selected as a person. Density control means how many of these objects have to be present for this rule to be triggered. I want it to be triggered when there's just one person present. Actually, I'm going to change this to a car, since in this sample video there's only a car. I can set my start and end time and my days of the week for which I want this rule to be active. Right now I'm going to leave start and end time blank, which means it's going to be active at all times, and I'll just leave it active every single day. Now I can change the object detection minimal accuracy for this rule specifically, rather than using the one set for the camera, but I'm not going to. I could enable loitering delay or loitering detection, which will allow me to detect if the car or object remains present for a certain number of seconds, any number of seconds I want, but I'm not going to use that. Loitering reminder would be used to remind me every so often, a certain number of seconds, if the object remains present. And I can choose to get alerts on object detection and/or alerts on object disappearance. I only want alerts when the object has been detected and not when it has disappeared. Profile sets whether this rule is active when the system is armed, disarmed, or both armed and disarmed. Normally you have rules active when the system is armed, so that when you disarm the system, the rules become inactive. I'm going to save the settings. So that first camera is going to detect cars. For the second camera, there are a lot of cars in the view, but I want to detect a person. So the standard person detection rule that comes default is okay with me, except I'm going to disable alerts on object disappearance. Now I don't want to detect a person just anywhere in this image. I want to detect when they are approaching my business entrance. So what I can do is I can edit the zone for this rule. That's the button right here. Now that's different than editing the zone for the entire camera. You can have zones for the camera and for individual rules. If you create a zone for the individual rule, then that zone or multiple zones for that rule will apply, and the zone for the camera will not apply. So now I'm creating a zone for the person detection rule for this camera. I'm going to click Add Zone. Now I can adjust the zone. So basically, this is a fisheye camera, so it's a little bit different. But I'm going to make my zone, like you see here. And this zone is set to be an inclusive zone. Alternatively, I could make it an exclusive zone, which means that I want to detect objects everywhere except in this zone. However, in this case, I want to detect objects in this zone, so I want it to be inclusive. And the zone will be active when I save it. So I'm going to click the save icon. The zone has been saved. I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to change this setting, react to intersections by center bounding box. So that way, objects that are detected have a bounding box placed around them, but I only want them to be considered as in the zone when the center of their bounding box crosses the border of the zone. Now I can go back to cameras. And now I'm finished setting up my alerts and action rules. Now I'm going to activate both of these cameras by flipping the on-off toggle right below the preview images. It may take a moment for the cameras to activate, but when they do, the red dot will turn green and/or you will start seeing object detections occur. Now I have also connected a Monitoreal solid-state disk drive to my MR, and I want to record these cameras. I can do so by hitting the record button and enabling recording, then click Save. However, with these cameras I have not added a stream URL, so there is no stream to record. So I actually can't do that right now with these cameras. Now I can go to the live stream tab, and I can see the recently detected events appear here as objects are detected. So here's an example of a person being detected in our inclusive zone. I can click on the image to enlarge it. And close the image. I can also see below that car being detected when it arrives to the parking lot. And I can also go to my archive page and see every single image with an object detection. I can click the image and flip through them using the arrows on the sides. And if I want, I can search my archive during a specific time frame. I can select which cameras to search, and I can choose which objects to search. So let's say I want to search all my cameras for person. Now I only have one camera that's doing person detection, so it's only going to show me results from that one camera where a person has been detected. If I search for car, I will see the results from the other camera where the car is detected. Now let's go back to cameras and set up some actions for these rules. For my car detection rule, I want to set up an audio action. So first I need to add a Bluetooth speaker. Go to Settings, Audio, and I've already turned on my Bluetooth speaker, so I need to hit the search button to search for the speaker. You want to have your Bluetooth speaker within range of MR when doing this. So I found a couple Bluetooth devices. Here's my speaker I want to connect. And now I can add audio files. So I'm going to browse and select an audio file. And these audio files can be in almost any format. Monitoreal will convert them. Then click Upload. It's been uploaded and converted to a WAV file stored on MR. Now if I want to, I can select the speaker that I want to test this on and then hit the play button, and that will play on the speaker. I'm going to go back to cameras, go to Alert and Action Rules for my first camera, click on the audio icon and create an audio action. I'm going to call this Trespassing. Select the device or the speaker that you want to play on. You could have multiple speakers, and select the file that you want to play. You can enter a trigger delay if you want to delay the playing of the audio file, and click Save. The action has been created successfully. Now if you wanted to, you could also, or alternatively, create an audio action when the object disappears. You would click on the Object Disappeared tab and create an action there. Then you can click Close. So now, when the car is detected, we should hear the speaker play the audio file.
You are trespassing. Please leave the area. This area is under video surveillance and you have been recorded.
You just heard the audio file play on the Bluetooth speaker. Now I want to set up a relay action triggered by the person detection on my second camera. So if I go to the Alert and Action Rules, I would set that up by hitting the relay button here. Before I do that, I need to add a relay to MR. So go to Settings, then Relays, and I've already plugged in a Monitoreal smart plug. Now I need to search, and the Monitoreal smart plug was not found because MR is not connected to the Wi-Fi of the smart plug. So cancel. Before I did that, I actually had to go to Network, and you need to set up the Wi-Fi networks. So I'll search the Wi-Fi networks and look for the Monitoreal outlet. The default password is 1234567 and connect. So MR is connecting to the smart plug in access point mode. It has connected successfully to the smart plug. Now I can go back to Relays and do a search again. Now that MR is connected, it will find the smart plug and I can click Add. The smart plug has been added. Now I can change the name if I desire by clicking the Edit button right next to the name. I'll just name it Smart Plug and click the Save icon. Right now, the smart plug is in access point mode, which means MR is connected directly to the plug via Wi-Fi. It's usually best to change the plug to client mode so that it connects to the standard access point on my network. Do that by clicking the three dots here, click Wi-Fi access point, and now we can change it to client mode and search the Wi-Fi networks. Select the network that I want it to connect to, enter the password, then click Save. It's a success. I can check and verify that it's connected in client mode to my Wi-Fi network. and I can manually turn on and off the smart plug here. Smart plugs also monitor the current voltage and power passing through the smart plug. Now I can go back to cameras, the actions and rules of my second camera, and click the relay button to configure the relay action. It says that I need to connect to a relay first, but I've already done that. So I'm going to refresh the page and try again. Okay, now I can set up relay actions for either object detected and/or object disappeared. I'm going to do this when an object is detected. I'm going to name this action. I'll call this entrance light, because I'm going to use this smart plug to turn on a light near the entrance of my business when a person is detected near the entrance. Select the relay smart plug and select the channel that you want to turn on. Now the action I want is for it to turn on, and I want it to do it automatically when the person is detected. I can set a duration for it to turn on, for how long. I'm going to do that for 20 seconds. And I can set a trigger delay if I want to. However, in this case, I don't want a delay, so I'll set it to 0 and click Save. Then close. Now when the person is detected, my front entrance light will turn on for 20 seconds. Now with that, I would probably want to adjust the settings of my rule and schedule it for nighttime hours. I could do that by making it turn on, or making the rule active starting at 6 p.m. Just press P when you're on that last selection there for PM. And I'll make it turn off at 6 a.m. and then click Save. So now I've finished setting up my actions for each camera. Now the last thing I want to do is set up alerts. So go to Settings, Alerts, and I want to set up Telegram alerts. Telegram is a messaging application. So if you don't already have a Telegram account, you need to get the Telegram app from your App Store on your mobile device and register an account. It's really easy. I'm going to switch over to the Telegram alerts setup in the manual to walk you through this. So once you have the app, which you can get from your App Store or from telegram.org if you're on Android, you register, then you open up the app of your choice, and you want to look for the bot father. So you start a chat with the bot father, you click the start button, and you send the command /new bot. And you follow the prompts and you create a bot. This is what that looks like. So you say new bot, give it a name, and then it gives you your bot API token. You want to copy that token, go back to your alerts page, and paste it in the bot token field. Then click Save. So then you want to make sure that you also enable Telegram alerts by flipping the toggle. And that's it. Now Telegram alerts are enabled. What I have to do next is go into Telegram and start a chat with my new Telegram bot and log in. So I'm going to use the web version of Telegram by going to web.telegram.org. Then I need to search for my bot name and select it and start or restart the bot. It'll ask me to log in. This is the username and password that I use to log into the web user interface of MR. Now I've logged in. Now I can type help or click the help button here to get a list of commands that I can send to my bot. Telegram does offer two-way control with your Monitoreal AI security assistant. So I can actually request snapshots, for example, by using the now command. Select the camera. And we can also see object detection alerts coming in. When I selected now, I actually had an object detection come in before I could select the camera. And that's the car. Now as the sample videos loop, we'll see the car be detected again. However, my person detection role is scheduled to become active at 6 p.m., which it is not 6 p.m. yet, so we're not seeing person detection alerts yet. And that is normal. So that's it. We have now finished setting up MR, our Monitoreal AI Security Assistant. We have audio actions and relay actions and alerts through Telegram. You can find additional instructions in the Monitoreal user manual, which is found on monitoreal.com in the support section. You can also reach out to Monitoreal for additional help through the contact information found on the website.